My name's Blair. And sometimes she's bold, but that's okay. Because she's my boogie. If you've clicked on this, then there's a very good chance that you or someone you know is either thinking about or has begun withdrawing from Mary Jane. And as someone who has gone through this experience myself, I'm now 5 or 6 months without her. I would just like to share what I've learned, and what you can sort of expect, and also the benefits on the other side, which honestly I did not expect some of them. So that's, I guess, a positive note. I hope this helps at least one person. Again, this is all just based on my own personal experience. I did do some research prior to starting this journey myself. So I will, throw in some of that information as well, but I'm not a professional by any means, not a healthcare professional. I'm not a shaman or anything like that. I'm just a girl who's gone through it. So yeah, and like I said, I've been without it for 5 or 6 months. If I can do it, I think you can too. I have all the faith in you. I should start with a little backstory, a little context. I started when I was about, I don't know, 19, 20. So let's say it was about 19. That would have been like what, 8 years ago. So breaking any kind of a habit, it's hard to break. But obviously there's more to it than that with Mary Jane. It's definitely a dependency, and we all have our reasons as to why we start doing it, right? So for me, I have generalized anxiety, and I also have issues sleeping. I always have. These are things that I've had since childhood. This is nothing new. This has been a lifelong thing for me. And I will be completely transparent and say that even after, giving it up, I still deal with those things. However, I've learned some new coping mechanisms. So, because I had to. Like I said, I tried Mary Jane because I thought that, well, since this apparently helps other people with their anxiety and their sleep, maybe it will help me, right? And for a very, very long time, for 8 years apparently, I thought that it was helping. It was sort of hindering me in other ways. And I sort of not found out, but like realized in the last, I don't know, year or so that the anxiety was getting worse, which is interesting. And also my sleep. I realized that I wasn't having REM sleep. And if you don't know, REM sleep is your deep sleep. So REM sleep typically occurs about 4 hours into your sleep. This isn't the same for every single person. Again, I'm not any kind of specialist, but on average, so you have your light sleep, then you go into your REM sleep, which is when you are dreaming, and then you have your deep sleep. So I was not having any kind of REM sleep, which meant I wasn't having dreams. And REM sleep and deep sleep are essential not only for dreams and from a neurological point of view, but also for recovery, for cellular recovery, for muscle synthesis, for neurological recovery, for just your whole body function. And so I guess that also has a lot to do with the anxiety, feeling like it was getting worse, and just overall health decline, I suppose. But it wasn't happening overnight, you know, it was very slow over the years, but it did catch up with me, is what I'm trying to say. Um, so yeah, these are the things that led me to starting to use it, and then over the years I made the decision to just try and give it up because I didn't feel like it was benefiting me. Actually starting to quit it, and the withdrawal process, I suppose, it was really only like the first week that I felt any sort of cravings, any sort of temptations. Also, I do want to say that I didn't just quit it cold turkey, because I have tried that before, and I do feel like that was harder. So personally, if you are starting this journey, I would recommend cutting down the amount. So like half the amount, maybe. That's what I did. Um, if you're a daily user, you know. Obviously, this is going to depend on how much you use, how frequently you use, etc. But I'm just going to tell you what I did. So I just started by cutting down like half the amount per day for the first few days, and then I decided to do that half amount every other day, and then every few days, and then it was like once a week, and then to the point where I just completely stopped. So that way it was easier on my body. I feel like this would be the most realistic, most ideal way if you're trying to stop rather than just quitting cold turkey. Because you do have a dependency on it, whether you want to admit it or not. Like anything, we have dependencies on everything: food, water, sleep, you know. And if you're using that, that's another dependency. So anyways, so yeah, after I completely removed it, I did notice that I was having some cravings for the first 5 to 7 days. And it wasn't anything that I couldn't handle. I did also invest in some supplements, which I can show you. So, no matter who you are or what journey you're on, I would recommend taking um, these supplements if you're somebody that struggles with sleep like I do. I have found that this concoction works for me personally, but again, speak to your doctor. I'm not a doctor. This is just what my doctor recommended and has been working for me. I know a lot of other people use them. So I started taking this one a few months ago, but then I switched over to the two that I'm about to show you, and I would still recommend this. It's a bit more expensive. So this is, if it will focus, One Nutrition KSM 66 ashwagandha, but it's not just ashwagandha, if you look on the back here, I don't know if that will focus. It's got ashwagandha, magnesium, and zinc. And you take 2 of those. You need to take them with some kind of food. And they're just a natural sleep aid. They're a food supplement. Take them a couple of hours before you're trying to go to bed. Like I said, that's just a little bit more expensive. So recently I've been going to Holland and Barrett, and this is what I'm on. It's the same thing, it's just it's not got zinc, and I buy them separately. This is the magnesium citrate or citrate or however you say it. And again, the ashwagandha KSM 66, full spectrum, 240 milligrams. But my point in all of this is if you started using Mary Jane because you like how it makes you feel relaxed and you like how you mellow out and it helps you fall asleep, but you obviously don't have any good quality of sleep, as you will learn in time. I would strongly advise finding some kind of natural supplement, whether it be magnesium, ashwagandha, or even L-theanine. If you can find L-theanine, that's another really good one, which is naturally occurring in Turkey, by the way. Yeah, these are all just really great things to help you sort of just wind down. But there's other things that you can do if you don't want to take any kind of supplement. Most people would say, including myself, it's really the first few weeks to a month that is the most challenging, really. In terms of like physical withdrawal, the only thing that I really noticed is well, I wanted to have it, of course, for the first week, like I said, maybe even 2 weeks. But then after that, it was just trying to get used to sleeping, and like I said, I've had trouble sleeping my whole life. Having said that, one thing that is extremely common when you get rid of this, you will start to experience REM sleep again. And that was really interesting to me. It still is very interesting to me. Like, I am now dreaming again. I'm now having really vivid dreams, and that's a very prominent thing about quitting it. Most people, if not all people, have extremely vivid, like active dreams when they first quit, which is really cool actually. So I would definitely recommend keeping like a little dream journal, a little dream diary, and just making little entries, or even on your notes app, I had some really crazy dreams, like trippy. And I told I told my family about some of them. They were like, "What the heck are you on?" Because I said that's the ironic thing. I'm on absolutely nothing. Absolutely just my own brain, just life. So it's really cool and interesting to see how your brain can just unlock all of these portals, I guess, whatever, when you allow it to do so. clear out the cobwebs. The regulating the sleep, which does take a bit of time, and I suppose that amount of time would depend on the person, you know. Um, I personally have noticed that my energy levels have improved. You know, some days are better than others, of course, but I do notice that I feel like I can just get up and go about my day, and I don't really drink coffee anymore as well. Um, like I've made a lot of health changes, and I feel like that was a lot easier to do starting with this, you know. Same with like removing sugar because I don't have the munchies after I, you know. Um, so there's just a lot of benefits, I suppose, you can expect. No, there wasn't really any sort of um wasn't really any sort of crazy withdrawals in my experience. I'm not gonna say that that's gonna be the same for everybody, but there wasn't any like scratching, there wasn't any heat, there wasn't any dryness, there wasn't anything like that, not like with other uh um substance withdrawals. Mostly you can just expect the plus sides, the benefits. So being able to have the REM sleep, um, and unlocking like this whole um side of your brain, maybe a side of your brain that you never knew you had, or maybe you haven't experienced in a very long time since childhood. Um, I feel more creative. I feel more motivated. I feel more energized. I feel um I feel more empowered in generally speaking, like I can do anything. Um whether it be not drinking coffee or not eating sugar or learning how to drive in another country or I don't know, being by myself or just fully diving into making YouTube videos because I want to. Um, Whatever it may be, I just feel different. I feel better. I feel more uplifted. Um, and I think that's another thing that a lot of people do feel, I've heard, when it comes to deciding to quit Mary Jane. But also, I would recommend, if you can, I know this isn't possible for everybody, but wherever you are, I hope that you are in a comfortable space, um, and that you have the parameters to be able to do this. Don't don't say, "Oh, I need to do this by this day," or like give yourself grace because it will take time. Just keep trying. Just keep trying day by day. Take it one day at a time. That's my biggest piece of advice, is just take it one day at a time. Don't think about, you know, tomorrow. Just think about today. How are you going to get through today? Try meditations. Try coloring if you like coloring. Reading. Go for long walks. Watching movies. if you feel like you need to eat a whole chocolate bar, eat a whole chocolate bar. Like, just give yourself all the grace and patience and time that you deserve, because it is challenging at first, but I know that you can get through it. I've gone through it. So many people have gotten through it. It's not impossible. It's a little challenging at first. But like I said, the first few weeks to a month is the worst. And then once you get over that hurdle, you're on the home stretch, baby. That's it. You're winning. And yes, not gonna lie, occasionally I have a fleeting thought or two about, like if I'm really stressed or anxious or whatever, I think, okay, would be nice because it does mellow me out. But then I think to myself, while that may be true, there are plenty of other things I know will equally mellow me out. And also, it wouldn't be worth it because the dreams that I experience and the energy that I experience, that is worth so much more to me. Like the way that I feel now means so much more. So that's just what keeps me going every single day, knowing how I feel now compared to how I felt when I would use it every day. So yeah, that's just my story, my experience, and I guess some of what you can expect if you are starting this journey or someone you know is starting this journey. I hope that this helped even just a little bit. If there is any other, questions or concerns, feel free to DM me on Instagram. Like I said, I'm not a healthcare professional or a shaman or anything like that, but I'm just a girl who went through it myself. So I am more than happy to answer any of your questions. Yeah, thank you so much, guys, for watching.